Welcome back to Music Kingdom, and back by popular demand, another blind review and analysis of a metal song. Over the past several months on this channel, we have received plenty of comments requesting a specific song by a specific band. And so, in this video, we will be listening to, giving a music theory breakdown for, and blindly reviewing Cemetery Gates by Pantera. Hang tight. Hey everybody, my name is Francis. If you are a fellow nerd for music such as myself and appreciate not just reactions but in-depth reviews and analysis of songs, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you'd like to support the work I put into these videos, you'll find Music Kingdom's Patreon and other affiliate links in the description below. Alright, now before we give the song a listen first... Why am I laughing? Alright, now before we give the song a listen first, let's briefly talk Cemetery Gates by Pantera. Cemetery Gates is from Pantera's fifth studio album titled Cowboys from Hell, released in 1990. After being turned down, quote, 28 times by every major record label on the face of the earth, end quote, Cowboys from Hell marked the band's major label debut. According to the internet, this was also the album where Pantera started to tone down the glam style of their previous albums in favor of a heavier sound inspired by that of Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, Slayer, Metallica, and more. And while it is their fifth studio album, it is only the second with lead singer Phil Anselmo. Otherwise, Pantera is regarded as one of the most successful and influential bands in heavy metal history, having sold around 20 million records worldwide and having received 4 Grammy nominations. Also worth noting, the band is from Texas, as am I. Now, regarding the song Cemetery Gates, it is in fact the longest song in Pantera's entire catalog of music. The lyrics lament the death of a female lover and the prospect of dying or committing suicide and rejoining her in the afterlife. Phil Anselmo has credited numerous inspirations for the song. He stated in an interview in 1991 that the song was written about his good friends that had committed suicide. He also stated that, quote, there was a friend who had died in New Orleans and it had a real heavy impact within my group of friends. When I wrote the lyrics, I did not want them to be too personal because that can be cheesy. I also had to make sure that the lyrics would not take away from the song because that was one of our best songs. Worth noting as well is that a live rendition of Cemetery Gates was nominated for a Grammy Award in 1998 for Best Metal Performance. All in all, I am very excited to give it a listen. Alright, with all that out of the way, it's time we give the song a listen, and just a heads up, I will be pausing periodically to share my thoughts, but ultimately to avoid any copyright strikes. And as always, be sure to stick around after the song for a music theory breakdown from our expert, and then we're going to divide the song into specific categories, grading them each, averaging them out, and arriving at an overall score. Wait, hold up. Okay. Surely I'm not the only one who picked up on that.
Reverend, is this some conspiracy? Crucified for no sins.
I already like how the lyrics are written. I love the anticipation, the showmanship, the drama. Very well done. You immediately get hit with this emotion of dread, and yet it's badass. As I've mentioned in other metal reviews we do, I always enjoy it when they ease you into it. Thoughts so far, as mentioned, almost a cinematic introduction. You guys will have to tell me if it's just a metal thing or maybe a Metallica thing that they are kind of going for in terms of a slow introduction that just gradually lulls you into the song. It definitely gives you a feeling of intrigue, of curiosity, while simultaneously having this badass energy, for lack of a more eloquent explanation. Presence might be the word I'm going for. So far, I am very much along for the ride. Two great transitions right then. They did such an excellent job of gripping you. Beautiful.
Without a tear in his eyes, nothing new for him to see. I didn't ask him why.
If they were going for more of a Metallica feel, they absolutely succeeded. Not that I'm any expert yet.
Well, I guess you took my youth and gave it all away.
Impressive vocals.
The birth of a newfound joy. This love would end in rage. And when she died, I couldn't cry. The pride within my soul. You left me incomplete.
Ooh, that's heartbreaking.
All alone as the memories never fade. Believe you were
Ooh. The touch of harmonies is nice too.
my door and past the cemetery gates.
As I've said in other reviews, I always enjoy when a metal band does a good job of keeping you engaged despite the song's length. Because an 8-minute song could easily be redundant. At this point in the song, as mentioned, I am very invested in the lyrics. They do a great job the way they are written in keeping you engaged with the story they're telling, while simultaneously balancing that with the otherwise edgy composition and production, and vocal style as well. Overall, regardless of genre, it takes a certain level of talent and creativity to keep you invested in a song when it could otherwise be easy to have your mind drift elsewhere. Super well done, very dynamic.
Sometimes when I'm alone, I wonder aloud if you're watching over me, someplace far above.
Beautiful lyrics.
I must reverse my life. I can't live in the past and set my soul free. Belong to me at last. Through all those complex years, I thought I was alone. I didn't care to look around.
I really do like the range of his vocals. Kind of gives you a bit of everything.
I should have cried and spread myself some pain.
You feel the hurt.
You left me incomplete, all alone as the memories do remain. The way we
I
were,
love that.
the chance to save my soul, and my concern is now in vain. Believe you were, I will unlock my door and pass the cemetery.
What I'm really loving about the song so far would be all of the differing elements and moods and emotions sprinkled in to one song. I know that's not uncommon in the genre of metal, but it never ceases to impress me. With the subject of the lyrics in mind, and by the way, heartbreaking, you would think that the song would otherwise just have a specific mood, which it does in a certain respect, but you or I guess, would assume that it would kind of just stick to one theme throughout. But instead, it's this perfectly balanced and harmonious roller coaster, if you will, but it fits so seamlessly. As mentioned, very dynamic and versatile. And bonus points to the lead vocals for really doing the most, keeping you absolutely sucked in. I love that growl, the scratch of the guitar. Ooh. was not expecting this. How does anyone's fingers move that quickly? So well done. And then it's tied it all back together. It is a bit repetitive, however not redundant, and there is a difference. As most music is. Show off, okay. Rightfully so. And then when they match it with the guitar. Very creative, almost playful. Nice fade out. I love a good fade out. Alrighty, initial thoughts before the expert's corner and before grading the song. First of all, what an outro. Phil's vocals with Dimebag Darrell's guitar playing almost as if they're in like a boxing match or a sparring match. And also, how impressive is it for the vocals to even match what the guitar is doing? I thought that was brilliant. Obviously, the lyrics were very well written, as well as the mixing of this song in addition, production-wise to make it all work together. Regarding composition, I'm no expert, obviously, which is why we have one. But having said that, I can already kind of gauge that it might not be the strongest of composition scores. Not to negate how great the song is otherwise, but it's just not necessarily that complex or melodically creative either. Which is okay, not every song is going to be that way. All in all, otherwise, I will say I did enjoy the song. However, in all of the other metal reviews we've done on this channel, I wouldn't say it's necessarily my favorite, but that's ultimately subjective and it is still up there for me. As always, when we are grading the song, I will get more specific and in-depth with my thoughts. But first, let's go to the expert's corner for a music theory breakdown and to see how he grades the song's composition.
Welcome to the Expert's Corner. This is Cemetery Gates by Pantera, and I'm here to give it a composition score. This song is in the time signature of 4/4, and it's in the key of A major. So compositionally, this song is actually quite simple. It has a couple of repeating riffs and then a main chord progression that I would say is the central theme of the song. That main chord progression goes F sharp minor, A major, E major, and D major. The other main theme that I can't play quite so nicely on the piano goes something like dun 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 dun. There is some great stuff happening in this one. I thought the drumming was incredible, and the guitar playing, that wailing at the end, is my favorite part. I don't know much about Dimebag Darrell, but I do know that he was a legend and that he died way too young. Overall though, for the song's composition, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. And as I've said in other videos, that doesn't mean that I think it's a bad song or even a diss to Pantera. Many of the most successful popular songs out there don't have great composition, and that's because that wasn't the focus, that wasn't the point. This song wasn't created to be a compositional masterpiece. Its strengths lie elsewhere. As I said before, loved the drumming, loved the guitar playing, and I think it's just a really tight production overall. Back to you, Francis.
A very special thank you to our expert for providing a music theory breakdown and giving the song's composition a modest but respectable 6 out of 10. Whether or not you agree, rest assured we do have 4 more categories to grade before arriving at an overall song score, so let's get to it. Starting out with the category of production specifically, I'm inclined to give it a very solid 7.5 out of 10. As mentioned in a number of other metal reviews we've done on this channel, Regarding that genre of metal or the genre of hard rock, production is usually going to be pretty minimalistic and simple so that the bands can go and replicate it more easily live. And this song really is no different, but instead of unfairly giving it some low score to reflect a very basic production, I do feel a 7.5 is fair to at least recognize how great of a job they did do. We can appreciate how well mixed everything is, we can appreciate how well done the introduction is, and then of course especially how well done the outro is, particularly that sparring match as mentioned between the vocals and the guitar. Otherwise, as opposed to songs of other genres, there really isn't that much production to talk about. And that's okay. I wouldn't want too much reverb on the vocals or sound effects or instrumentation in the genre of metal to begin with. Keeping it moving, up next we have the category of vocals, and I'm inclined to give them a very strong 8 out of 10. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well Francis, what about the insane range? What about that performance he just gave? Isn't an 8 a bit low? First of all, to me an 8 is technically great. And while yes, displaying that kind of vocal range is amazingly impressive, I honestly don't feel that it was otherwise outstanding. There's just more to it when grading the overall vocals in a song. He's got a great voice, that much is clear. Most people couldn't sniff what he just did if they tried. But yes, I would be lying to you guys if I did say that the vocal performance in this song was versatile enough to warrant above an 8 out of 10, which is still very fair. Up next, we have the category of lyrics, which I will be giving an even stronger 8.5 out of 10. In my opinion, the lyrics in this song are easily the star of the show. The composition works around what the lyrics are about. The way the production is mixed is meant to fit the lyrics of the song. The insanely impressive vocal delivery is meant to match the lyrics of the song. So incredibly painful, so incredibly hurtful and heartbreaking, so on and so forth, and yes, they really are well written in my opinion. However, to keep it fair, if we put the subject of the lyrics aside, are they otherwise penned well enough to warrant a 9, a 9.5, or a 10? Meaning some of the greatest lyrics to ever exist in the history of music since ever. In my opinion, no, but an 8.5 is still damn great. And they are easily some of the best written lyrics I've heard in any metal song. Absolutely blew me away and kept me engaged throughout the entirety of the song. Alright, arriving at our final category of originality, I'm inclined to give it a very solid 8 out of 10. To be honest with you guys, I was actually considering giving the originality of this song a 7 out of 10. And the reason is, if we're talking about the musical elements of this song, whether it be the composition, the production, or the vocal delivery, I can't say any of those elements in this song were necessarily original. Now, to play devil's advocate and to be fair, it is not lost on me that this song is from 1990. However, even though the genre of metal was still relatively new and much younger in 1990, in my opinion, it had still been around long enough, and in my opinion, there were other songs long before this one that sounded a lot like it. Musically, melodically, creatively, I wouldn't say this is a very original sounding metal song. But again, I did not go with a 7, I went with the 8. And the reasons are, for starters, I did think the introduction to the song was very creative. I loved the theatrics of it, I loved the showmanship of it. I thought it was very creative and playful to an extent to have the outro do what it did between the guitar and the vocals. And of course, the biggest reason I bumped it up to an 8 would have to be the lyrics. They are so very well written, they are so very original, especially 33 years ago. Nowadays a song could be about something like this and it's celebrated and it's almost common, but back then I would imagine lyrics like these were far and few between. You've got to give credit to that. And lastly, on the subject of originality, I will say, in my opinion, even though I am no expert like you guys, I definitely heard a lot of Metallica's sound in this song, but for me it would be more of a positive thing, like a tipping of the hat or paying homage and tribute. Either way, with all that said, an 8 out of 10 is still great, and in my opinion, it's fair. So now if we add it all up, including the expert's composition score, and average it out, Cemetery Gates by Pantera from their 5th studio album titled Cowboys from Hell, released in 1990, gets a very solid 7.6 out of 10, which to translate numbers into words would be very, very good. However, I do acknowledge that this is celebrated as one of the greatest metal songs of all time. So in that respect, I do feel a little bit sacrilegious giving it a 7.6, but hopefully the past however many minutes of this video have at least displayed how I arrived at that number. So be sure to let me know down in the comments below whether or not you agree. Am I right on the money? Am I batshit crazy? Am I somewhere in between? As well as what your favorite Pantera songs are and what I should check out by them next. As always, if you are a fellow nerd for music such as myself, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you'd like to support the work I put into these videos, you'll find Music Kingdom's Patreon and other affiliate links in the description below. This has been another edition of Music Kingdom. Thank you so much for listening with me, and I look forward to jamming with you in the next one.